How's it going, everybody? This is episode 10 of the Garden Groove podcast, and we have Eric Fortaleza on this week.
Eric is kind of a big deal here in Nashville. So he played with Lindsay Ell, who's a great singer and guitar player. And I bring up Eric's name all the time when I'm talking to kind of my entrepreneurial friends, because Eric was on the road with Lindsay Ell for a while, and it's stadium tours, and he's in front of Taylor Swift had that like walkway on her tour that like goes into the center of the stadium. There's photos of Eric just in the center of this stadium just playing bass to these people, and he decided I think he's still playing with her here and there, but he decided to put most of his attention to the pitch meeting. And the pitch meeting is this really cool thing that he started here in Nashville, where they get a bunch of names in a hat, essentially, an electronic hat, and they pick names from it, and someone will come up on the stage and they'll say, hey, my name is this, and I just moved to Nashville, and I have this song. And then Eric he'll be on the microphone, and he'll say, how does your song go? And they're like, okay, this is it. And they'll play it, simple chords. They're like, all right, we get it. We get the whole song. And so they play it all on the spot. It sounds amazing because the whole band, the musicianship is wild. So he started the pitch meeting. It's such a cool thing. They're doing it Tuesdays right now as of the recording of this at the Cannery Hall. It's a new spot near the Straws downtown.
Yeah.
But yeah, every Tuesday there. Nice. So cool. Such a cool thing. Eric Fortaleza.
Here we go. Okay, sweet.
Is this a swearing? No.
We can cuss, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't...
When I put it on Spotify, I say explicit.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
because I knew you were coming on, so I had to say that.
How's it going, everybody? We are here on episode 10 of the Garden Groove podcast, and this week we have Eric Fortaleza. He is right now most known for Pitch Meeting, which is super cool, and we're going to talk about that. He's also played with Lindsay Ell, and he's played with Iam Tongi of American Idol.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's
Is that
how you
correct?
say it.
Okay.
You're nailing it today. Hey!
That was a gauntlet. I wanted to make sure I said everything right, but we're so excited to have him on, and we're going to talk gear and playing and pitch meeting and life and whatever else. So, Eric, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, it's also Grace Bowers, too?
Yeah.
Is another one.
Yeah, just most recently, Grace Bowers. She's a up and coming guitarist from California. Moved here a few years ago, but yeah,
Awesome.
As many people that I enjoy playing with that I can, I'll try my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what is taking up the majority of your time right now, would you say?
Oh well, as you guys introduced who I am, I run this thing called Pitch Meeting.
Yeah.
Just to summarize quickly what it is, it's I started this event in mid-COVID.
Okay.
End of 2020 in Nashville. While nothing was going on. And to summarize it, it's exactly like an open mic night.
Yeah.
But this time you get a 12-piece band backing you up on the spot. The only rules we have are you sign up on the night and only original music. So horns, BGVs, percussion, drums, bass, multiple guitars, all the organ, keyboard that you want. Backing up these songwriters on the spot. They sign up on the night. And then on the spot, we just play their songs. And it has to be original music.
Yeah.
Or a song you wrote or someone wrote for you. But yeah, that's our weekly event that we do here in Nashville.
And it's a 12-piece?
Yeah. I mean, I would love...
At least, right?
At what?
It's 12 at least, right? Because you
At
get the
least,
whole
yeah.
horn section.
I didn't realize that it was a 12-piece. I knew that y'all had, like, a full crew up there.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Bass, guitar, drums, perk, keys, 2 BGVs, 1, 2, 3 horns, and then if I add, and then did I say bass?
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
bass. So
Like-
at least 11.
Well, then if we do 3 or 4 horns, depending on how many horns are there.
Well, and then you got the whole
Drums, yeah.
film crew and
That's right.
photography.
It's a 20-man
and-
crew. It's about a 20-man crew running every Tuesday. there's at least another 10.
Yeah.
Like behind the scenes, video, photo,
Right.
sign up sheet, broadcast mix, backstage photos,
merch.
sound, merch, sign up. It's a whole,
Wow.
it's a fun little family running around.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
And-
Jamie Glasgow, photographer.
He's so goddamn good. But he was talking about the whole process, and he's like, "Yeah, we probably have the best like organizational systems like in Nashville." He's just talking about photography and video and like how you guys manage all that stuff and your systems behind that. He's like, "We're probably the most organized in Nashville."
he's talking about it very highly, and I appreciate that. I at least a goal that I have with whatever, be it the photos, videos, musicians, artists, etc. With anything, musicians and artists and any kind of creative, the path or infrastructure that I'm always trying to build, even if it's from the ground up, I kind of want to, I make sure that I create movement of career path, like a forward momentum, or at least a view that there's more.
Yeah, long term.
It has to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People in general, you know the term dead end job?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels like there's nothing else that's
Yeah.
going to happen. You're great at it. You're good, and you reach the point, and you're like, what's next? The same thing?
Yeah.
You know, I like to, I wanted to create something that I would want to join.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I want to be part of something that feels like it has some
It's
kind of
going up.
forward momentum, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe that's what he means by most organized. It just feels like that, but it is chaos.
Well, he was talking about like the micro details of like every photo has its own title to it, and like nothing gets lost. In the system.
Yeah, everything is archived.
Yeah,
every
he was
video,
talking
every
about
photo.
That's
It,
good.
it has to be. Everything is dated.
Right.
And we capture everything. And if I need to go back to a date, I can just like, oh, that's the date. I'm there. I just check the year, check the thing. It's all on my Google Drive. I'm like, okay, bang.
See, that's pretty amazing. Like a lot of people skip over the little details like that.
For sure.
I do.
Man, like, you forget, like, imagine this. Imagine your old family photos. If you wanted to grab a photo of you at 5, what do you do right now?
Call my mom.
But that's so much. That's so much effort.
Call
Imagine,
my mom and tell her to go look through the photo albums. and send me a
imagine if you
picture.
just had a folder. Imagine, right? Just imagine if you just had a folder in the cloud somewhere that said photos, and it's all sorted out by year. And you click on the year, whatever year you were 5. Click on that, and then like, what month do you want?
Right.
And I click on that. It's like, there it is. Like, it's just easier. I mean, content is king in this new age that we're in. And if you archive everything, but then organize, you can archive everything. But if everything's not sorted out correctly, then it's just there's no forward momentum.
Yeah.
To see forward, I feel you got to have everything sorted behind you.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
100%.
kind of how
100%.
you create another forward momentum. If everything's organized, you're like, yeah, my foundation feels good that I can grow to whatever
Standing
it
on
is.
something good.
Yeah. I appreciate that about Jamie. That's sweet of him. It's chaos, but I like what he's saying. Okay, everything's organized. That makes sense.
The eye of the hurricane.
Well, I guess, so you've got this, 30-man plus or minus crew.
Sure.
Where does this start? What does this look like in COVID? Because that's a crazy time to start something new that's based around live music.
Oh yeah.
That's a wild time to. Sometimes a great time to, for a lot of people, is a great time to like come up with new ideas, put new things in motion because they had all this downtime. They weren't on the road. They weren't playing shows. But how do you actually launch something like that? And what kind of, were you running off a skeleton crew, or did you ask everybody you knew to help, or how did that work?
So it was great because everyone was bored.
Yeah.
Everyone, at least the people that I knew were bored. Quick summary would be, I moved to Nashville from Sydney, Australia, July of 2019.
Okay.
I toured with an artist named Lindsay Ell for 8 months. We were just every weekend going out there. My first gig was at the Opry with her, and then our last gig was supposed to be at the Opry on my birthday, March 20th, around. So imagine that, March 20th of 1990. A week before that, we're like, oh, the Opry show got canceled, and the rest is history, COVID of 2020. 8 months of touring around the world, and then nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting at home, and we started around October of 2020, so I gave it a bit of time. I didn't just go like,
yeah, it
you know
wasn't
what?
immediate.
yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna listen
Gotta
to the
do
lockout.
something.
Yeah,
It wasn't May 2020.
yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't April 2020. It was
Yeah.
like I gave it some time, stayed at home.
Yeah.
Until I started seeing places that were kind of opening up, and they're doing their thing, and I just wanted to play. And one of the first things I wanted to do, of why it started, is I'm not a fan of the Nashville edition style of like, all right, put a piece of paper in the front of this rehearsal space.
Yeah.
9 to 10, we're gonna try this guy. 10 to 11, this guy.
Oh,
11
yeah.
to 12, this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way you find the musicians that you're creating art with.
Sure.
I like to see musicians play live and
Yeah.
then watch them at the deep end. When it's gonna mess up, I love watching like musicians go, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
And then that's when I know that's someone I want to play with. Because
Yeah.
if we're playing just rehearsed songs, it's like, okay, cool.
sure.
You have to be
reading
good
off
at
the
it.
chart.
Yeah, right.
Because you've learned the song.
Yeah.
What about a song you don't know? How are you gonna work with that?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like you were saying before, like that's level one. Level
Yes.
one, like when you show up to a rehearsal in Nashville, like yeah, everybody knows their stuff, but that's rehearsal. But level two is can you do it when you're actually live?
Exactly. So I was trying to prep myself of like who like at the time. Oh, we'll be back by July. We'll be back by Christmas.
Yeah.
The live music will be back. Oh, by March of 2021, we'll be back. No one knew. But
Yeah.
all I wanted was I wanted the band that I was playing with to be warm. Like if we're doing a weekly gig,
Yeah.
playing, we're at least warm. And like okay, because we know each other more if we're playing together
Sure.
more. I also used it as a space to audition drummers for the gig that I was playing. The gig that I was waiting to start again. But
You had a lot of amazing drummers on.
yeah, I've been trying out.
Vitar and Harry and
Yeah, we started with first guy was that really helped us out was Harry Myrie. He's a good friend, and he's now with Hardy.
Yep.
Like he's helped us.
wow.
He helped us really kickstart that thing in the new venue. But yeah, it's like I was auditioning different drummers, but as the weeks got on and the show was finding its feet, and like the tour manager of Lindsay was helping us out, the girlfriend of the tour manager was helping us out, everyone was kind of helping us out because we had nothing on.
Yeah.
And it just started growing and attracting the right people. It was like pinging a frequency that was just like, ding, ding, and he's making like, what is that? It's making people go,
Yeah.
the bat call.
the bat call. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too obvious, not too quiet, but just the right. It's emitting the right frequency, right? And it just started off with that, and because of that frequency ping and of late 2020, I met people that saw more of what this could be.
Yeah.
We just started with a 5-piece band. Actually, bass, drums, guitar, acoustic, keyboard. Yeah, it was just a 5-piece band at the time. The first venue was Belcourt Taps. There was a plastic shower curtain in front of us to protect us
that's
from
right.
COVID. Didn't work.
and it's shoulder packed. And
Yeah. But the plastic shower curtain.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, plastic shower curtain. No, that's the
Yeah,
answer.
that'll
You guys
do
know
it.
everything.
But yeah, anyway, because of that, the people that I met along the way, a guy on slide guitar just showed up to like a few months later. Some guy on slide sang like Bryan Adams. I don't know if you know, like that voice of Bryan Adams, the slide of Derek Trucks comes along and starts singing, and we decided to kick off 2021 after 2 months of running this thing, of finding a way to make this more than what it is. We aimed at turning it into a nonprofit organization, giving artists the opportunity to, well, just to summarize it, be themselves and create art without compromise. That's just a quicker summary of what that all is. And as the years gone on, we've played a few different venues, tried out different things, and now the band has grown to 11, 12, and plus 20-man crew.
Yeah.
It's growing. You're inviting the right kind of people.
Yeah.
But that's a quicker summary of what has happened. And yes, it's invited. I'm just trying to play with people I love playing with.
Yeah.
That's all it is. If people watch it, they're like, oh, he just loves playing with those people.
Yeah. That's awesome.
If you boil it down, that's all it is.
Yeah, just people that enjoy playing together and
that's it.
having a good time.
How did you? Because the musicianship that's on that stage is unbelievable. From McKenna's voice is unmatched. Your bass playing's unmatched. And Mike is a crazy, crazy good slide guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
Did they come to you? Did you go to them? How is it possible to get that musicianship on the same stage?
You know the term build it and they will come.
Yeah.
That pitch meeting is the classic example of that.
Sure.
I played the way I play. I was just me. I just did what I enjoyed doing, and it brought these people in, from
So cool.
friends of friends. Like, hey, meet this guy, meet this guy. But I saw Mike. Really, first time I played with Mike was on stage, at pitch. He just signed up. He had his Kempers.
He signed up.
Yeah, he
so
signed
I guess the system already kind of brings those people in naturally. Yeah.
It invites something happens.
Right.
It invites that kind of energy or whatever it is. Like I said, it's that pinging, that frequency. It's never trust that sometimes if you pour your heart out there, if you're ready for it to get hurt and you're ready for it to grow in the same sentence, who knows who might come.
Yeah.
And everyone around there was a great example of hey, pour your heart out there, and they just came. One of the things as well that I always tell, if I'm trying out a new guitarist, if I'm trying out a new horn player, whatever it is, or any time I play in a band with anybody, the thing that I always ask musicians, and being intentional with your words, I feel is very important. It's very important with anything that you're doing, and then you attract those kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
If you're vague about it, some people are like, oh, what's he about? Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is what I tell every guitarist and every musician I play with. I go, I'm not interested in you playing the record. I'm not interested in you replicating the thing that I've heard
Already.
That's cool, and that's a great trait. I don't want to diminish that trait too, because that trait works in for a lot of different people. But I want to hear you. That's what I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
I have no interest in you replicating somebody else or trying to be like what you heard before you.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you sound like, and you present that, because to me that's if I give a space for musicians to just be them, then I can be me, and then let's just be me. Let's just be us together.
Yeah.
That's how I find those people.
Yeah.
That's the energy that makes them go, oh, I can just do what I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it works in that context.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I do like the build it and they will come method is there's something so real about that. I think Taylor and I both have seen that with Taylor, putting Garden Groove together, and then just me doing what I do it's the same thing. It's like you just keep at what you want to do, and a lot of times there will be people that'll kind of be like, nah, man, you probably have an easier time if you just did this, if you just leaned into this thing, and you're like, I want to do this though, this is what I want to be doing, and then you're hard-headed enough for long enough, and then all of a sudden you start to, it's like that pinging, you start to attract the people that see the value in what you're trying to do.
Well, that's the whole point. I think people need, it's a combination. It's a very privileged mindset to be able to say, I just want to do what I want.
Sure, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
100%.
It really is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what's the response? If you shouldn't get demonized for it, that you can, because then what should your response be? Like, oh, you're privileged that you can do whatever you want. That is the answer. Don't do nothing then.
Right.
Is the answer just don't do it. Don't do anything. You can do whatever. Like, no, it isn't. The answer is like, man, what if I just use doing what I want? If I am in a situation,
If you have the ability to,
that I can do whatever I want, what if I just get to share that and bring joy to others.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's the best. I hope for people. It's easier said than done, of course. But if you find the right combination of you're good at it, you love doing it, and it somehow can pay your bills. Oh man, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on hold on as long as you can.
Yeah.
Because life does not, unfortunately, life does not go that way,
Yeah.
for most people. So,
Yeah.
like, man, if you enjoy
Most
it,
people are not that lucky.
don't let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that kind of is a good little segue into how you got to Nashville with Lindsay Ell. How did that come together? What was life like down under? I'm sorry.
Nice. You can reference anything
I'm
that
sorry.
you want.
No, it was teed up.
It was too easy. It came out before I was done
You're
saying
allowed.
it.
You're allowed.
How did all that come together before you got here?
So I've, a lot of people like, oh wow, you achieved all of this already, and you've only lived there for X amount of time, whatever. No, I did 10 years of working,
Yeah,
trying to figure it
absolutely.
out, working on my chops, working on how to do this X, Y, Z, how to do any of that business stuff.
Yeah.
10 years of pursuing music in Sydney. I had that skill set that when I brought it here, it did help me. But Australia's a very interesting country. It's the same size as the continental U.S. minus Alaska. So just the mainland, if that's how you say it. Who calls it that? Anyway,
The lower
anyway.
48.
Yeah,
It's like
whatever.
that's like an old person way to...
Same landmass, right?
Yeah.
So Australia has the same landmass. There's 21 million people in Australia. 350 million people in the U.S. 30 million people in Texas alone.
Yeah.
Like, people can stay in Texas. Like, 21 million people in Australia, that's just staying in Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Texas has more.
Yeah.
Like, so with that, like, it's a numbers game, right? Like, no matter how much you want to be all like, oh, I'm going to make it and the stars will align. You also have to understand numbers. 21 million people. You get 1% of the market. That's 210,000 people. That's 210,000 people. Let's just say you get 1% of the market. That's a good living. I think you can make a living out of that.
Yeah.
You get 1% of 350 million people.
Yeah.
You're set.
Yeah.
You're set.
Yeah.
If you find a way to access that fan base, right?
Right.
So Australia's market is so small that most Australians, or at least if they can deny it all they want, if they do deny it, but there's a yearning to move to the United States.
Really?
Yeah, because like that's where Charlie Parker was playing. That's where Miles Davis was playing. That's where Ray Charles grew up. That's where you know what I mean. That's where Jimi Hendrix started playing. That's where Foo Fighters, Nirvana. I can keep going. Aretha Franklin. I can keep going and going and going. The best music in the world, or the most impactful music in the last century, was from here.
Yeah.
The very DNA, even through Tennessee, going down to Georgia, hitting Florida.
Yeah.
The music there, we can go to Memphis. We can go even further out. You know what I mean? Like the music, the DNA here. The grass is greener, of course, but as a young Australian, the mindset was like, I want to move. I want to move there. I've always wanted to, and I've said that out. But 10 years in Australia, figuring that out. How I got here, a long way around that question.
It's okay.
I would post YouTube covers.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, if you, like, it's online somewhere.
We'll find it.
Yeah, it's all there. I would just post me playing like covers of John Mayer songs, D'Angelo songs, and all of this stuff. And like I would clickbait some people, and I would call it bass lesson.
Oh, nice.
But it isn't.
It's just you playing.
It's just me playing the exact note.
Yeah.
The exact notes that I hear, at least. Like, I think these are the notes. And if you watch this enough,
It is a bass lesson.
Yeah,
It's a lesson,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a lesson. And then some people would comment, "This isn't a lesson."
Yeah.
It's like and then a response to like, "Well, it is if you watch the whole thing."
Yeah, you pay close attention. to
But
this.
anyway, I would post these videos of just songs I love, and especially John Mayer songs, because I'm a big Pino Palladino fan.
Oh yeah.
And
He's
then,
great.
because of that, I got recommended for this gig in Sydney for an artist named Lindsay Ell. She was performing in Sydney in March of 2019 to play at this festival called CMC. This is the Australian version of CMA.
Okay.
So they had a CMC festival in Australia, and Lindsay was one of the artists. I booked myself, Liam Hogan, and a guitarist named Reese Fuller, Australian guys, to play for Lindsay. We do the gig. I do that whole week with her, and she tells me, "You're the best bass player I've ever played with. Wow. I wish I can teleport you to Nashville." Now, when you hear that, it's like, oh, thank you. That means a lot. You know, she's very sweet too, and someone, you know, complimenting your playing, and I'm like, I appreciate that. And she goes, "I wish I can teleport you to Nashville." And in my at that time, I was like, I've heard that. I've heard that. I've heard so many artists and people that I would play for going to Australia. Oh, if you lived in London, I could.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, if you lived in New York, we'll be doing a lot of work. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But when she said that, so she's Canadian, so she understands the visa process.
Right.
If you're ever trying to move to the U.S. As a non-U.S. resident,
Golly.
Visas are no joke.
Yeah.
It is the hurdle, the hardest hurdle to deal with getting in this country, but it's worth it if you want to do it right.
Yeah.
But so she when she said that, I kind of challenged back, and I was like, "Well, I'm available if you need me." I call her. I send her a letter of like a letter of. I sent her a letter a week later, an email, a letter.
Mailed her a letter.
A letter.
Send a bird.
I sent
from
an email,
Australia.
pretty much. Yeah. A crow.
Yeah, send a crow.
I sent her an email a week later showing my interest in being part of it, that I meant it. I was like, hey, from a prior thing, I had my visa already,
Cool.
which is another story for another time. But I had all my visa stuff ready. And I was like, hey, if you're serious, I'm ready. And then she gives me a call. Hey, so it seems like I told her, I'm planning to move to the U.S. anyway. This is around early April of 2019. I'm planning on moving to the U.S. anyway. If you want me, I know what I can bring to the table. If you don't, I'm moving anyway, and I'll probably be playing with someone else. If you want me, I'm there. Anyway, she calls me a couple days later. She's like, well, it looks like you want to move here anyway. I hope, because the deal was she didn't want me to just move for her. That's tough.
Yeah.
She wants to know that I'm moving regardless. So I said, she's like, hey, so I need to move some stuff around, but if you're serious, I want you to be my full-time bass player. And I was like, my hand was shaking at this time.
Yeah.
I'm in my room. I was like, and again, 10 years in Australia, trying to figure it out, figure out how to move to the U.S. some way, in some shape, some form. And my hand was shaking. And I was like, everything went gray. I remember it, man.
Yeah.
Everything went gray. And I responded like I was getting proposed to. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Yeah.
And she goes,
That's awesome.
and she goes, cool, talk to your lawyers. Let's figure it out. Long story short, 3 months later, long story shorter, sorry. 3 months later, my visa got approved. I moved here mid-July 2019. Our first gig was at the Opry, which I thought was the Ryman. I was so confused.
Yeah.
And I was like, here we go. And straight on a tour bus. 8 months, and the story continues. 8 months later, COVID. Yeah. But that's kind of how I got here. That's from she goes, and I asked her why the YouTube videos, right? I asked her, how'd you find me? Well, your name got recommended, but of course, what's that do? And then Lindsay's a big John Mayer fan, so when you YouTube my name, bass, I'm playing like Gravity, and I'm playing Slow Dancing in the Burning Room, whatever. I'm playing all the John Mayer songs, and she's like, oh. Cool. Wow. Like he can actually play.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I never posted those videos,
what
would?
Yeah, dude.
Can you imagine?
That's crazy.
You're like Justin Bieber. Like
YouTube
was everything.
That's right. YouTube helped me, man. Like she found me there. Like at least I got to showcase my thing, putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And it worked. And at least now I'm here, and 4 years on, and trying to figure it all out. That's oh man, YouTube. Anyway, post covers.
Wow, what a cool
thing.
Hey everybody, we're interrupting the podcast because we want to show you kind of what's really going on here at Garden Groove. This is a place where people can come in, record podcasts like we're doing now, but we can also record full bands in here. We've also had some people record just drum content or just drum tracks. So there's all sorts of options here, and that's kind of where Jackson comes in.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Jackson Maddox. I am the head audio engineer here at Garden Groove. So we have a lot of great gear now that we are really, really excited to share. The sound in the room is awesome. We've been recording bands in here. We've had people come in and do drum cover videos. And the way that this studio is laid out is so that you can come in here and feel like you can do whatever you can imagine in here. So we would love for you to bring in your next project, whatever that may be, and we would love to just be a part of that and help you out.
And if you also just want to hang out, we're doing monthly master classes. That's every last Monday of the month. So every month we're going to feature a new artist and entrepreneur in Nashville, diving into different Ableton things, diving into different photography and all sorts of different stuff. So you can check that out on all of our socials, and it'd be good to meet you all. And have a good day. And
Signing off. That was good. I used to watch John Mayer covers all the time, and I would watch like guitar covers and bass covers and drum covers. So I might have already seen a video. I might have jammed along to you on an occasion or two. I used to I was in a huge John Mayer phase when I was in high school.
Who wasn't? At least in my age.
Still love John Mayer, but I really had like a huge phase back then of just kind of coming out of like my punk era, and I was like, I want to learn.
That's the standard progression.
Yeah,
that's how that works. Like in high
It's
school, like you're like middle school's like Simple Plan, and you're like,
right.
Man, I just
Power
don't want to go to
chords.
school.
Yeah.
And then high school, you like start to calm down a little bit. It's like, yeah, listen to
Yeah.
John Mayer. and-
Why? Well, like,
Well,
it was.
Oh, sorry.
He got us. He got us.
Yeah.
Mayer found a way to like, hey, I write these pop songs, but I got you. It's the
Yeah, it was like
I
the
love it,
playing,
though.
and then it was also, he has that one song, In Your Atmosphere.
Oh, man.
And he's like, I don't want to go to LA anymore, talking about like when he dated Jennifer Aniston. And I'm sitting there
Is that what
15.
that's about?
Yeah, thinking
I
about the
didn't know
girl I
that.
have a crush on. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to LA anymore either, man. Like like my LA is third period, you know. And I'm like relating to this song about something so unrelatable, you know. But I feel like there was so many. Stop This Train.
Oh my God,
that
Heart
one
of
like
Life.
made me cry
that
when I was
whole
about to
album,
graduate high
the
school.
Continuum album, man.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn.
Yeah, that
whole
whole
album.
the live at the Nokia, like
Nokia Theater, yeah.
the Nokia Theater,
Yeah, that's right.
One
That-
like,
Live in LA.
oh, dude, playing the trio set. I learned like the whole trio set
dude.
back
Dude,
in high school.
On that DVD, there's a Pino Palladino cam,
Yeah,
right? So you can
Oh, is
just
there
stick
really?
on
Yeah.
you can just watch Pino's camera.
Oh.
And I've learned how to like do the prompt. Like I don't know if I've mastered it, but it's I would watch that video all the time, and that was that DVD helped me understand like
the little walk ups.
but the palm muting.
Yeah, he's such an expressive player too.
Oh man,
It's all in the neck.
You know,
it is all in the net.
yeah.
You know, like that DVD helped me, man, because I got to watch exactly his hands, his fingers. It's like, oh, his wingspan is not mine. I have these are small hands compared
And
to
he's got like
Pino
this
Palladino,
monster.
maybe.
Yeah,
But yeah, that DVD.
It's
oh,
the
boy.
DVDs. I remember I had the Led Zeppelin DVD when they played the Royal Albert Hall.
yeah.
Oh wow.
And the Moby Dick solo was legendary, and like you could actually see what they were playing. These legends.
Yeah.
You could be 5 feet away from them and actually see how they're playing.
There's something about buying this thing. Like
Yeah.
what's
Buying
what's
a
a DVD,
DVD.
now? What's a no? There's no
Nobody-
such thing.
yeah,
like
A
nobody-
this-
download.
a download.
A download of Royal Albert Hall Led Zeppelin.
No, it's like something about like I went to my local hi-fi store and it's like I want to get the John Mayer Live in L.A. record, and I had to buy it, and like the fact that I could open it. There's something about that magic.
Oh yeah, that one. So I was just gonna say the White Stripes did that. They did a tour documentary when they were in Canada because they had never been able to tour Canada just because of like visa stuff or like not visa stuff, but you have to pay to get in or whatever. Anyway, they did a full tour where they went to like tiny like Yellowknife, which is like the middle of nowhere, 5,000 people max.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling. I went to Target and bought it, and like the smell of the DVD and just like putting it on and like learning it note for note, just every single song, and it's all live versions, so they play them differently, and you're like trying to learn like the little solo lick that wasn't on the record or whatever.
Man, I miss I sound so old now. I miss CDs.
Yeah,
I miss it. I miss like going out of my way to listen to something, playing it, and then knowing that like I've listened, like you can tell which records I've listened to the most because the CD with like the case would be like, oh,
the
that's
case
cracked
is
now.
a little cracked.
It's like shattered.
Well, that's fine because
Right, wear and tear.
wear and
But
tear.
the extra album art that you would get
Oh,
too,
man.
Yeah, the inserts.
Yeah.
And like the booklet.
the little booklets that you'd get.
Yeah.
And the cool things that people do with vinyl now, like all the stuff that Jack White is doing out of Third
At Third Man Records.
Third Man Records,
Yeah.
like he's putting water in the vinyls and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. That's weird.
And like the
Cool.
holograms.
Very cool.
Have you
Well-
seen those? Like if it spins, it makes a little hologram.
There you
of,
go.
Like a
Well,
horse
I
or
love that.
something.
Like I love that. There's, I mean, whatever incentive you want to create for someone to purchase music in this age,
Sure.
but it's also like, but I love that the magic of opening. There's nothing quite like it. Like that's why Apple spends so much money on the experience of opening a product.
It has a little bit of
Right?
give as you're opening
Like
it.
even the plastic,
Yeah.
the tearing the plastic. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, there's before you even open the box.
Yeah.
Like that experience is like intentional. Now,
Yeah.
something happened with music. Well, that disappeared. Sorry, disappeared is a strong word, but that Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all of those guys, Pandora, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? How
Yeah.
do you create that experience again, other than vinyl?
Yeah.
Right.
But then, how many people have vinyl players?
Right.
Like-
Not as many as everyone had a CD player.
Yeah,
Everybody
But, like,
had a CD.
how do you recreate? You can't.
Yes, you can.
How?
You
Show
get
me.
you get a VR headset.
yeah. Have you tried the Apple Vision Pros yet?
I'm never gonna.
Oh
try
my
it.
god! As he says, you should VR headset, but I'm never gonna try it. I tried it out. Marty Schwartz.
Yeah.
I came over his house one day and he's like, "Try this out," and I was getting so upset because of how insane it is. Like it's
Oh, no.
so intuitive that it's
Yeah.
upsetting.
You
That
just look at something and then
yeah, like whatever you're focusing on, it knows. Like whatever you're focusing on, whatever your eye is focusing on,
Yeah.
that's your pointer mouse. And then you just do this, click.
yeah.
And
That's
I'm
so
trying,
wild.
like, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
We're
It's
getting
so-
old.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
probably
oh
what
my-
that means.
No, upsetting for me was, I know people already that are stuck
Yeah.
like this or stuck
Yep.
like this or stuck like this. And if you're just listening, stuck on the phone, stuck on video games, stuck on TV, watching internet, whatever.
Yeah.
And this thing that has created like a high definition virtual VR, obviously, virtual matrix that you can just access, and it's intuitive, and you can watch a movie on the moon.
Yeah.
You can watch a movie on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
You can.
It's a
yeah.
world overlaid on top
Yeah.
of the existing world.
Right.
So the most insane is obviously you think of it was insane. It was insane how the closest that I felt to like, oh, this is weirder, because if I try to put on a movie, I'm on the moon, right? And I try to put on a movie, and I was like, of course, if you're gonna watch a movie, you make it you make it like the size of a building,
Right.
like you're at a movie theater, and I can make it as big as I want, like that.
Yeah.
And when I did, I was like, oh, that's cool. This is awesome. But then the fact that this is the weirdest one. I actually made it smaller, the size of my phone. in this VR world. I'm on the
Yeah.
moon. So I'm on the moon, but yet the size of my phone is the screen. And I'm just sitting there on the moon watching a movie the size of my phone as I look around and I'm on the moon. But yet there was something comforting watching this video. Because I'm so, all of us, right?
Interesting.
Everyone's used to watching content
On a tiny
on
little.
a hand-sized screen,
Right.
right?
But it's on your couch.
But it's on
And
your
it's not
couch,
the
but you're
moon.
on the moon.
Right.
It's insane. So that's, yes, I can make it big, but that was the most insane part about it, that I watched this movie, just a snippet of it, while I was checking out these Vision Pro, and it was just this small, and I look around, oh, that's the moon, and that's Earth in the sky. It's insane.
That's
Ugh.
so crazy.
Anyway,
That
if
is
you guys,
so nuts.
I know you might never try it, but it's the future. You're right. One more thing. There's a thing that they created for it, what is you can go to a Alicia Keys rehearsal
Okay.
to show you like what it's capable of. So Alicia Keys is just having a little rehearsal at her studio space, and you're just like, oh, I'm there.
It's that 360 view
Yeah.
type thing.
Well, 360. Yeah,
Or like they
it's-
put that camera in the room.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how
Whatever
to.
that is.
I don't know the exact the exact technology of the words, but it's. Yeah.
It allows you to walk through the room.
You're in the room.
That's
weird.
so
It's weird.
wild. Yeah, I guess then you can start. Audio can become intertwined with that, with the directionality
Yeah.
of things, and then you have Atmos, which you can somehow they replicate in headphones now, so you
Yeah.
can have Atmos going.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
I think you're saying something that's kind of true there. What would be the closest experience that you would feel to listening to whatever that booklet is? What's the
Yeah.
new version of like opening the CD,
Right.
right? And I think imagine this in our time. If this was the technology in our time, let's say John Mayer's Continuum, right? Let's say you can listen to this at Electric Ladyland or wherever he mixed, because I know a few songs with Electric Ladyland. I don't know exactly what the other spaces are, but you can listen. You can be in the monitor room,
Yeah.
the console room, and listen to the record from top to bottom in the console that the guy was mixing it at.
Yeah, you can replicate the speakers.
And then you
the
can reach out
room
and touch a fader if
Actually,
you
oh
want.
my gosh, if we could- that's next level. But imagine, forget that you can edit mid watching. Just imagine if that's the experience that you can watch, that you
Yeah.
can listen to it exactly how, like the Dolby Atmos approach.
Yeah.
Of like you can listen to it, the recording session of the guy mixing it, and maybe Pino's just sitting there and you can hear his chair squeak. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Or
Yeah.
them tracking it. You're hearing the version of that record.
You
Anyway.
can walk up to the guitar amp and move the mic over
Yeah,
to
gosh.
the edge of the cone.
kick John Mayer in the shin.
Yeah, like-
But yeah, that might be whatever that experience is. I think this is why I love live. Actually, I love
Yeah.
live music because that's still
It's
the place.
immersive.
Yeah,
You're
it's still
there.
the place. Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
the place that you have control of the presentation of the music.
yeah.
Because I can release a record right now, and I've talked to a few friends about this, and we're mixing on like all these high end speakers and great
Yeah.
headphones, and I go, all right, of the people listening to this right now, like that's gonna listen to this music, what percentage do you think either has really good headphones or really good speakers?
Or has the ear to be able to pick apart a good mix versus a bad mix.
Yeah,
Bad.
5%, 10%, 1%,
Maybe.
It's a small percent.
1%,
Probably one.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, it'll just be from our phones.
Yeah. Totally.
Send me the mix. Cool.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Sounds great.
I can hear it. Great.
Yeah.
But that's or someone like you posted it. You worked your entire entire day of just mixing. Like it's gonna be the best mix I've ever made, etc. And out of nowhere, someone's just listening to it. Yeah, on their phone. The content that you just posted is like, yeah, sick.
Yeah.
It's totally true. But like, and before I had this space, and actually before I knew Jackson, he's helped me learn like how to hear high frequencies and what is a good mix and what's compression and all that kind of stuff. Before all that, like, I didn't know. So I didn't know what I was listening for, and now like, you know, when you're initially learning bass, you're like, oh, he did that one lick. Like, I recognize that now because you've defined it and you understand what it is. With mixing, I didn't figure that out until what, like a year ago. So,
being able to hear those things that you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, like you said, you studied it. You studied in the Blackbird studio. Like, is it like the wild? Like, they have like, I'm not sure the program they have. Do you get to go to that studio out in the
Studio C.
like, you get to use all of the studio spaces?
It's not like free reign, but we do get to use most of what we did, like that was hands-on, was in Studio A, and then we would bounce back and forth between the classroom and the studio. So we do like 2 weeks in the classroom, 2 weeks in the studio, and then we would do, like, most of it was in Studio A, sometimes Studio D, and we did do some listening stuff in Studio C, which is the Atmos studio. And it's like, what is it, 11.6.4 or something like that. It's crazy. It's like 6 up top, 11 around, and then 4 subs.
Amazing.
It's crazy. And it was, awesome. And also, not to derail the conversation here, but yesterday, actually, day before yesterday, our classroom teacher actually just passed away.
I saw that.
Yeah, Mark Rubel. So quick rest in peace to Mark. He was a great teacher. He taught us so much. I mean, he was the one, like you're telling me about, you know, how to hear things. Like that was Mark for me. It was,
nice.
You know, he was such a good teacher, and just loved sharing the knowledge of audio engineering, which a lot of people are very cagey about. You know, people are very guarded with the information, and he was just an open book, and he just like tell you anything you wanted to hear about, and like learned so many cool little weird tricks, you know, like making a sub kick out of an old Line 6 amp, you know, where you reverse wire the speaker. But sorry, what was your original question?
It doesn't matter, man. We're just riffing.
Yeah, just riffing. But yeah, that was such a good experience, and I learned all of those things, that the things you don't know that you don't know. I felt like that was what I got out of that, was just you know, filling in all those gaps where I'd been poking around in the dark, you know, trying to figure things out on my own, and then going in and being able to see it at such a high level was so cool.
There's something to that, though, which I would love to give credit to. So Sydney is a smaller, it's a small town compared to a city, but still smaller than most major American cities. But because it's so small, you kind of meet people faster, and you get to see the people in that world faster. And most of the people in the world that I was in all studied music. They all had how this is how music works, chords work, harmony, understanding of music theory, mix this and like between 8K and 2K and mid bumps, bass boosts, all that stuff, right? So it's great that most people can speak the language and know the rules of how to approach, be it mixing or be it playing or be it harmony. But what I love about, at least when the pool is bigger, people end up to, how would I explain this? People get to a point where I feel so inspired by them, but yet they don't understand a lick of music. Mike Gannon's an example. Like, really, Mike Gannon has created his own understanding of music, has allowed him to play like that. But I would show Mike notes to read, like, I don't understand that.
I love
like
that.
He's just like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
it's like I can give him. Mike is better with reading charts now, but when we first started pitch, here's the chart for the song. That means nothing.
Sure.
Yeah,
it means nothing to me. He just hears it.
I think that's such a cool way to learn, though, because
exactly,
if you get, not that school makes you cookie cutter, like you can go through a school and still be authentic.
Yeah.
But when people learn outside of school and when people learn just on their own and their own YouTube videos and their own trials and errors, it makes such an authentic musician in the end. And like that's when you can, and that's with producers, that's with bass players, that's with literally everything. But it's just such a cool and authentic and natural way to learn.
I agree.
It's just so cool to see the results of stuff like that.
You hear something happens when the guardrails aren't there.
Yeah.
Something happens because they're musically approaching something that, oh, but you don't normally do that. It's like, well, he did it.
Yeah.
And because it sounds good to him.
Right.
You know, I think it's great. It's just nice to not be limited. I mean, everyone and their own approach is beautiful when someone's reaching for higher. Mm-hmm. But it's also nice to hear different approaches, and even with mixing, even when we're talking about this, like, it's people sometimes forget it's not just science; it's an art.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's not just numbers.
Everyone, and you can follow the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and that's fine too. But then, does it sound good? Like it?
Yeah.
Does that kick drum always sound like that in the same? You know what I mean? Is that always gonna? Oh, that's such a punchy kick. Yeah, I just did this. It's like, well, every mallet is different. Every skin is different. How long has that? The room, the temperature, everything like that. I think the art of mixing is also, or how to make something sound good. I also love when people just use this and they forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They don't even know. I don't know any of that. I just do this because it sounds good.
It's very Rick Rubin.
Yeah. Well, he's very
Yeah.
the spirit will
philosophical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always doing that where I'm kind of approaching things. Either I'm kicking myself because I feel like I'm not doing enough on something, but then I revert and I go, nah, just listen. Just let it, become very zen about it. I'm like, no, just let the song breathe. Let it do its thing. Because you'll watch a tutorial on YouTube about, or just like a breakdown of a mix, and some guy's doing so much complicated stuff, and you're like, how am I even charging people for this? I'm barely doing anything compared to this guy. And then you go into a mix and you try that, and you're like, you're just suffocating it because you're crushing the music, and you're wrangling the music into something that it doesn't need to be. And so then you go, okay, wait a minute. Everybody was before plugins. They were just turning the fader. You don't need to do all that.
Wait a minute. Ringo only had one mic.
Right. So you're just like, it's like the constant battle.
But I got this new plugin.
Yeah,
like, what am I supposed
to use it, right? Like, what are people even paying me for?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, like Phineas. Was just his favorite. What was it? Like his favorite EQ is the Logic EQ.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that does the mixing for the Black Keys, one of his favorite distortions is the Pro Tools.
Is the Sans Amp.
The Sans Amp.
Yeah, it's one of the most powerful plugins that comes stock with Pro Tools.
Yeah, man. If it sounds good, it sounds good.
It sounds good.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into some nerdier stuff.
Sure.
Give us a little breakdown of what this bass is that you're playing.
This is
awesome.
So I'm normally I call this the don't book me bass. Just visually it is very loud, and
visually,
audibly it is also very loud. But I really love the look. This is a Nashville guy named Brian Barrett. He owns a bass shop about 20 minutes south of Nashville called Low End Bass Shop. Okay. So Low End Bass is his.
Oh, is that your strap too?
Yeah, that's it. So that's
nice.
his brand, Low End Bass.
Very cool.
I wanted a jazz bass on steroids.
Okay.
And I went down there, and he had this bass just hanging there with the funky colors. It's like blue with a gold drip.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I tried it out. Mm-hmm. After trying it out, I was like, oh my goodness, it is bitey. Yeah. It is opposite of what I normally play. And what I normally play, at least in the last gig I just did, with Grace Bowers, P bass, flat ones. That's normally where I live.
Yeah.
I love that sound, and I always go back and forth. And but if I want to get gigs, I play the P bass with flats.
Yeah.
If I'm doing whatever I want, it's this bass.
Gotcha.
But it's pretty new in the arsenal. But I've been loving it, man. I think it's my best playing bass. What that means, at least for musicians, sometimes though a Ferrari feels like it can do anything. Sometimes you don't want a Ferrari if you're just trying to break a wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yes, I can. It feels like. Like I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
Like I can just fly all over the neck, and I'm
Yeah.
not even trying. But then I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But then I love a P bass with flats because it's like you can't do anything else but this. But this
Yeah.
bass is like it's just like I had it, and I was like, I might as well just play it. I'm a big fan of it. I think he builds some nice basses.
Yeah.
So if you ever check him out, Low End in
Low End
Nashville,
Bass.
is pretty badass. But it goes straight to my. I think that these are his own pickups as well.
Okay.
So he builds everything. I'm really enjoying it at the moment.
And what are
But,
the controls on there?
So I think that's master volume,
Okay.
pickup selector, mid boost, mid cut,
Okay.
stack treble, bass, treble bass, boost cut. So this is like, I think it's a high. So I'm turning this switch is a high cut or high boost. So this is
Okay, it
This
could be
is
either or.
cut. And I don't know what I forgot what that is. I just leave
You
it.
forgot what that is?
I just leave it to wherever that is. It's like, it
Yeah.
sounds good.
Sounds
don't, Don't even mess with that.
But yeah, it is the Don't Book Me bass. It's just one. It's like, I know. It's like if I'm trying to get a gig and someone saw that bass, it's like, oh,
We don't even need a lead guitarist anymore.
yeah. It's funny how that's kind of how it works in the music industry. It's
Yeah.
like if the bass is, or whatever it might be, if it's too funky, it's too out there. If the fact that it even has an extra string,
Yeah.
what a normal bass is, some people are like, ugh.
Whoa.
Yeah,
what's
you're
all that?
supposed to be in the back.
Yeah, it's like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one too many strings on that thing.
Yeah, but like I'm enjoying playing it. Like I'm at the point in my career where if I was playing for somebody, I'm telling them as long as I get to do whatever I want, and that's the deal. Like I get it.
Awesome.
That's not the advice I would give young bass players.
Yeah.
Not at all. My advice is like, no, man, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Do the music. Well, always do the music justice, but like be musically appropriate. If I can, but at this moment, if I was just talking to myself, what that means, it's like, be you, and if they don't want what you do, that's fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not meant to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's also nice to try that next, whatever that looks like in the future. If I'm inviting that kind of spirit,
Yeah.
what that looks like.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because I did that for 10 years. Of like, all right, I'll just play the thing that's needed, that's required, what you're used to. But wonder what it feels like when I'm just like, hey, this is what I do.
Yep.
Do you want it?
Yep.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
There's other bass
Take-
players. If
yeah.
That's right.
nothing's
That's
wrong
a
with
great
that too.
place to be.
I hope. It's just a place to be. Great
Yeah.
is subjective.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, sure. Like, I can revert
Sure.
or revert. I don't want to make it sound like it's a downgrade. I'm just here at this moment,
Yeah.
and who knows where I'll be tomorrow. you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I might get over it and be like, all right, P bass and flats.
Yeah.
The whole time. Who knows?
Just slip back into the P bass.
Yeah,
With the,
and
with the
I
flat
feel that
lines.
always happens.
Yeah.
It always happens. Actually, I just did the last Grace Bowers gig I did. 2 gigs I use, or the gig before that I used this bass. Cool. And the last gig, I was like, I wonder what the fact that I even had the conversation with myself.
Yeah.
I wonder what a P bass with flats would sound like in this gig. I wonder if it's gonna sound good. Like I already know the answer.
Yeah, it's
like,
gonna work.
It's gonna work and it's gonna sound good. And I do the gig and I'm like, man, this bass sounds great in this gig. And I'm like I'm nada. Like,
Yeah.
it's annoying
It's the go-to.
it's annoying that it works because how can meat and potatoes not work?
Yeah.
How can salt and pepper not work?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, of course it works. But I'm also in a point in my career that I'm trying to. I just sold the bass yesterday. I'm trying to be like, what would it look like if I only had one bass? Which is a hard thing to say out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I'll justify maybe 3.
Just
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah.
jazz bass, P bass, and maybe this thing.
Yeah.
And then I would go, yeah, but Hofner. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
it's a dangerous path. And I've seen Joe Bonamassa is a great example of you know what? Conform to the spirit of gas, which is gear acquisition syndrome.
Yeah.
He has like everything.
Yeah.
So it's like you can go that way, or you can go the Mike Gannon way, where he just has one guitar.
To work.
It's like just and no pedals, volume pedal,
Yeah, dude.
tuner, super reverb, and or Princeton.
It's so cool.
That's
And that's it.
crazy.
It's so cool.
And it's annoying. It's like, that's it. You don't need it.
Yeah, yeah.
And here I am. Was like, what? An extra string?
Could I get a gold drip, maybe?
yeah. The gold drip, sick. But
know.
yeah, this is low end bass, man. Like I've always wanted another like a Fender style thing, but with a bit more, like again, like with on steroids.
Yeah, more
And
functionality
He
and-
created it, and not just functionality. I'm talking about bite.
Yeah.
Right.
Fender and most Fender copies still live in the confines of vintage to modern vintage, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
There's not many roads other than if you're going Strat.
Yeah.
I don't know what you play.
Yeah, Strat.
Okay. So, what would be a modern version of that? Like, is PRS kind of doing?
Yeah, PRS
something?
Silver Sky, maybe
You know,
the John Mayer kind of thing might be a little more modern.
Yeah, but that's still vintage. Like I'm talking about what it offers later. But you know my point, right?
I don't
like
even know.
Fender
That's a good
esque,
question.
which I'm obviously a big fan of. Fender, being a Fender artist,
Nice.
like it has its sound and it has its world, and this is what I love about Fender. Side note, Fender is at a point of their career, if we're talking about Fender as a person,
yeah,
but
they're doing pretty well in their career.
They're like, this is what I love about them compared to other companies. They don't care what you play.
Yeah,
They know you'll come back to it.
yeah,
like they're so ballsy that they're like, man, sure, play Les Paul, but you'll come back to us.
yeah.
yeah.
You'll come back to us, Helly, because
You'll
you'll need
always
it
pick them
eventually.
back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not worried about
It's
it.
like we're not worried.
Yeah.
Like that's what I love. That's what I love about them. But yeah, so Fender has that world which I'm in, but then I wanted something that has like, if someone just went crazy and souped it up, and man, if you're another bass player and you're hearing this, if you ever see this bass on me live and you want to try it out, then you'll get it. Then you'll be like, oh, it feels like you can flow and do anything, which is very dangerous for a gig.
But so satisfying.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that feeling, I'm sure, just like pure fluidity
Yeah, it's just
behind something. I think that's one of the best parts about playing an instrument. It's just like this free flow of just everything you've learned all coming into one thing, and just like
That's the goal,
so
isn't it?
satisfying.
That's when you know when you've reached. There's pros and cons with at least this mindset, and let me try to at least explain it if we're trying to go there. If you are free flowing and you're not thinking anymore, and it's just playing, it's a
flow.
it's a dangerous world, because then you're not really controlling anything anymore. And if you're a musician, you'll definitely understand this. If you hit a euphoria, zen, whatever,
Like flow. Like
what-
my favorite producer, FKJ, talks about it all the time.
flow state.
Flow state.
Yeah, flow
Yeah.
state.
Nirvana, if some people want to call it that. But it is this moment where you're just not thinking anymore in the instrument, or you're just floating.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, because sometimes when you are floating, it can either, and you can confuse these two things together, is that the music is so easy you're not thinking anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, like That it could be that. So you can sometimes mistake it as that. You've muscle memoried the thing to the point of you're not thinking, which is not. I don't think it's good that you get there, but I'm not sure if it's what I'm exactly talking about.
Right.
No, I'm talking about it's
like you're taking up so much space in your brain that there's no room for anything left.
Yeah, you're like a you're in the edge of falling and flying.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it. Where it's like, anything
you're just
can
hanging
happen.
on.
You know, like,
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flow state. If that's
Flow state. There's a book on it.
Yeah.
There's a
master.
book on it.
Yeah. What is
Yes.
that? Master. Oh wait, is it called the flow state? What
I
is
think
that?
it's called just the flow state.
Oh, let's check it out.
But speaking of playing in flow, should we play in flow?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.